else's.
And what if I said I didn't want you here?
I'm not employed by you. I'm employed by your mother. So unless she says she doesn't want me here anymore, I'm staying. Not because I care about you or particularly enjoy your company, but because I need the money. I really need the money.
Well, Grandma, what did you think of Me Before You? I'm still not sure whether the grammar of that is exactly right, but it's called Me Before You, and it's about, I think, what would be aptly described as a plucky, spunky, quirky girl who... Young woman, okay.
Yes.
Who needs a job to help support her family, takes a job as a caregiver for a paralyzed young man, even though she's not had any experience being a caregiver before. And it describes how their relationship develops, and eventually, I think I'm not giving too much away to say it blooms into a romance.
Well, they love each other. Yes.
That's close enough.
They love each other.
And where all that leads.
What does that mean now? Yes.
So what does that mean to them, to their families, to their futures? What did you think of the movie, Grandma?
I thought it was very well done. It's a situation that almost anyone can understand. If you were placed in this situation, either as the paralyzed young man or the young woman, who essentially turns out to be more of a companion. She, at first caregiver, I thought, well, without medical training, this is going to be hard for her, but there was a male nurse professional that came every day and took care of all of the physical care of the man. The rest of the time, even though at first he was very resistant to having her there, he was very cold and unresponsive when she attempted to make contact, talk with him. But, as you pointed out, she was a very spunky young woman and was not to be denied, and eventually broke through that resistance that he had. I thought that both of the actors did a fabulous job. They were, especially the girl, the young woman. She was very, very good. Her facial expressions, her way she moved her body in the situations, it was really good. And how the young man, who had no movement at all except above his neck and his face, was able to deal with that was very impressive to me. The young lady comes from very, very middle-class family in England, and the young man is from the peerage, the semi-nobility, the very, very wealthy. In fact, where his family lives is called the castle by the rest of the people in the story. Her family is there, very loving and supporting, very different from his family, who are loving and supporting, but in a very different way. They're more reserved, because they are upper class. Anyway, I was fascinated by the story, and I thought it was extremely well done. What did you think?
Well, I thought it was pretty well done. I think the thing I admire about it the most is that again, it's based on a novel,
Yes.
and again, maybe that helps, but they didn't rush things too much. They didn't force this relationship.
No?
I mean, you can pretty much assume from the beginning of the movie where it's going. this sort of, semi-hostile relationship that it starts out with, it's not going to stay that way. I mean, they're eventually going to warm up to each other. They're eventually going to, become friends and who knows what else. But they really took their time to develop this relationship, and again, I appreciated that they didn't force it to get more sort of interaction with them as friends earlier. It was fairly predictable, I thought, in terms of you really didn't know how it was going to where it was going.
Right.
So again, it was helped, I think, a great deal by the actors. Again, the actors really did do a good job. The characters were very interesting. I would commend the actress as you did. I'd also commend the actor. Again, he had to do a lot with very little facial expressions, his eyes and everything like that. And he did a good job acting with, just his head and his face.
He couldn't even move his shoulders,
No.
or his arms or anything. There was nothing moving except his face.
I have to say, though, again, while there are some good things about it, some things that I appreciated, I really didn't like the way it ended. Now, again, I'm not going to say how it ended.
We're not gonna give up the secret.
No, we're not gonna say how it ended. But
you didn't like the way that it ended.
No, I didn't like the way it ended. Now, let me say that again. What happened at the end to the characters is fine. They can have their relationship go to this point and have the movie end sort of, the characters end that way. But just the way that the director and I'm guessing the writer did it, I didn't care for how they presented it.
You don't think they changed the novelist's ending?
Well, the novelist wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
So she, I don't know if it's a he or she, but they may have changed it. I don't know. But they could have. But again, just the way that they presented the way that this movie ended, I really didn't care for. I was expecting it was really leading up to, I think, an emotional payoff. I didn't get it. Other people in the audience may have gotten that payoff. I didn't get it.
I did.
I
did get it.
Well, Grandma, it's really a sort of a mixed bag for me. I just don't think I can recommend it. It got to the end, and there just wasn't the emotional payoff I was thinking it was going to give. The audience goes through this whole emotional roller coaster, and then you get to the end, and it's just not there. And I don't think I can recommend it. What do you think?
I recommend it. I think it was wonderful. It was engrossing. The actors did a superior job, and I followed the action and the non-action, but their relationship developed all the way to the end, which we are not going to give away. But I recommend you go see it. 2 thumbs up. This is a good film, a very emotional person-to-person film, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Yes.
I'm glad you liked it.
I did.
Okay.
But you're not ready.